we're going to win a championship. And usually you're the new coach because your team wasn't so good the year before, right? So they'll come out and we're like, yeah, we're going to be excellent and stuff. And most pundits of the sports world say this isn't so intelligent because now you've set a bar so high, right? And they say it's best as a new coach to come in and keep the bar low, right? Because then to the outward, to the externals, right? So that if you win 3 or 4 games, everybody's like, yeah, we're making improvement. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep the bar low right now. But internally, the coach is a competitor. And they're thinking, and they're telling their team, guys, we're going to win it. They feel like this. The reason why they're in that position is because internally they're like a competitor. We're going to win this. We're going to do this. So similarly, we can be like externally, hey, keeping expectations low. But internally, you're sitting on the Vyasasana saying, Krishna, I'm your tool. Please, you just allow me to say something that is encouraging to the devotees, something that praises Srimad Bhagavatam, something that praises you. And maybe, just maybe, I can say something that is encouraging to the devotees that inspires them to perform devotional service. So I'm not a very good politician, so I'm letting you guys know some thought processes here. I'm going to look up to see what verses we're going to do today and let you all know. So that if you're at home or have your devices and want to get it ready, you can do that. And then we'll sing Srimad Jai Radha Madhava. What's that? Yeah. Prabhu, we have YouTube live. So yes, your class the other day was on YouTube. Millions of people from all over the world watch. Actually, millions of people from all over the universe watch. Lord Brahma is watching your, possibly. But yes, there is a Srimad Bhagavatam online, and there's many people listening. Rupanuga Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're going through Canto 7, Chapter 5. We'll cover text 45 through 57, and we'll focus on text 53. Okay, enough rambling. Let's go. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabiyari Jaya Gopi Chanavadava Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Haribo Jaya Radha Kalashanji Radha Kalashanji Shri Radhe Radha Jaya Radha Shamasundar Radha Shamasundar Shri Radhe Radha Jaya Radha Govinda Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shri Radha Madhava ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vasam Tajo Jayam Rudirayat Nastapriya Shabrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhakti Bhakti. Nice to key. Thank you. Nice. Om Gyantimarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight and knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Okay, it looks like we don't have a person controlling the computer. Oh no. There he is. A little situation. Situational. So we're starting with, I believe it was 45, did I say? 7545? 7545? Anybody help? Help. My touch screen is not working. Hare Krishna. Yes, we do need a mic. Please. Mm, 45 through 57. Oh, he's got it up. Yes, 45 through 57, and we'll focus on text 53, please.
Text 45. Hiranyakashipu thought, I have used many ill names in chastising this boy Prahlad, and have devised many means of killing him. But despite all my endeavors, he could not be killed. Indeed, he saved himself by his own powers, without being affected in the least by these treacheries and abominable actions.
Text 46. Although he is very near to me and is merely a child, he is situated in complete fearlessness. He resembles a dog's curved tail, which can never be straightened because he never forgets my misbehavior and his connection with his master, Lord Vishnu.
I can see that this boy's strength is unlimited, for he has not feared any of my punishments. He appears immortal. Therefore, because of my enmity toward him, I shall die. Or maybe this will not take place.
Text 48. Thinking in this way, the king of the Daityas, morose and bereft of bodily luster, remained silent with his face downward. Then Shanda and Amarka, the two sons of Shukracharya, spoke to him in secret.
O Lord, we know that when you simply move your eyebrows, all the commanders of the various planets are most afraid. Without the help of any assistant, you have conquered all the three worlds. Therefore, we do not find any reason for you to be morose and full of anxiety. As for Prahlad, he is nothing but a child and cannot be a cause of anxiety. After all, his bad or good qualities have no value.
Until the return of your spiritual master Sankaracharya, arrest this child with the ropes of Varuna so that he will not flee in fear. In any case, by the time he is somewhat grown up and has assimilated our instructions or served our spiritual master, he will change in his intelligence. Thus, there need to be no cause for anxiety.
After hearing these instructions of Sanda and Amarka, the sons of his spiritual master, Hiranyakashipu agreed and requested them to instruct Prahlada in that system of occupational duty which is followed by royal householder families.
Karma Kanda.
Thereafter, Sanda and Amarka systematically and unceasingly taught Prahlad Maharaj, who was very submissive and humble, about mundane religion, economic development, and sense gratification.
The teachers Shanda and Amarka instructed Prahlad Maharaj in 3 kinds of material advancement, called religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Prahlad, however, being situated above such instructions, did not like them, for such instructions are based on the duality of worldly affairs, which involve one in a materialistic way of life marked by birth, death, old age, and disease.
Text 54. When the teachers went home to attend to their household affairs, the students of the same age as Prahlad Maharaj would call him to take the opportunity of leisure hours for play.
Prahlad Maharaj, who was truly the supreme learned person, then addressed his class friends in very sweet language. Smiling, he began to teach them about the uselessness of the materialistic way of life. Being very kind to them, he instructed them as follows.
56, 57 right now? Very last one.
My dear King Yudhishthira, all the children were very much affectionate and respectful to Prahlad Maharaj, and because of their tender age, they were not so polluted by the instructions and actions of their teachers, who were attached to condemn duality and bodily comfort. Thus the boys surrounded Prahlad Maharaj, giving up their playthings, and sat down to hear him. Their hearts and eyes being fixed upon him, they looked at him with great earnestness. Prahlad Maharaj, although born in a demon family, was an exalted devotee, and he desired their welfare. Thus he began instructing them about the futility of materialistic life.
53, sorry, Krista. I thought we were asking what verse we were on, but if you're asking about our focus verse, it's 53. Wait. Let me double check that. Yeah, 53. Okay. Yatta tri varagam guru bir. Yatya tri varagam guru bir. Atmane upasistitam. Atmane upasiksitam. Shiksha. Nasadu mene tachitsam. Nasadu mene tachitsam. Dvadvara mo pavranitam. Dvadvara mo pavartinam. Yatya trivaragam guryurbir. Atmane upasiksitam. Nasadu mene tachiksanam. Dvadvyara mo pavaritam. Bolo, please. word for word together, please. Yatya as Tri Vargam, the three process, religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Guruvihi, by the teachers. Atmane, unto himself, Prahlad Maharaj. Upashikshitam, instructed. Na, not. Sadhu, really good. Mene, he considered. Tat shikshatam, the education in that. Dvandva arama, by persons taking pleasure in duality and material enmity and friendship. Upavarinitam, which is prescribed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The teachers, Sunda and Amarka, instructed Prahlad Maharaj in the three kinds of material advancement called religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Prahlad, however, being situated above such instructions, did not like them, for such instructions are based on the duality of worldly affairs, which involve one in the materialistic way of life marked by birth, death, old age, and disease. Purport. The entire world is interested in the materialistic way of life. Indeed, particularly 99.9% of people in the three worlds are uninterested in liberation or spiritual education. Only the devotees of the Lord, headed by such great personalities as Prahlad Maharaj and Narada Muni, are interested in real education of spiritual life. One cannot understand the principles of religion while staying on the material platform. Therefore, one must follow these great personalities, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.20. Svayambhurir Narada Sambhuhu Kumara Kalpio Manuhu Prahlado Janko Bhishmo Valir Vayashkir Vayayam. One must follow in the footsteps of such great personalities as Lord Brahma, Narad, Lord Shiva, Kapila, Manu, the Kumaras, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhishma, Janaka, Bali Maharaj, Sukadev Goswami, and Yamaraj. The 12 Mahajans? Yes, no? Yes. Those interested in spiritual life should follow Prahlad Maharaj in rejecting the education of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. One should be interested in spiritual education. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading all over the world, following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, who did not like any of the materialistic education he received from his teachers. So, the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's this interesting, very interesting part where Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, he had just got done doing a life's work. He wrote down the Vedas, right? Accomplishment that we couldn't even dream of, right? He did the accomplishment of all accomplishment in his field, you could say. You could imagine that, like, you're a mathematician and you broke like the hardest equation that's not been broken ever, and you break it. Oh yeah, this is amazing. I broke this new. Or you're the new archaeologist that found the most unbelievable, groundbreaking discovery. Or you're the athlete that won the World Series, and you get it and you do it, and yet you feel unsatisfied. Wait a minute, I did this thing that like is the pinnacle of my success in my field. All my peers will speak my name for so many years, right? But yet inside you're feeling, wait a minute, this isn't the only thing. This actually happens quite often. Matter of fact, in sports, when there's a thing where people win the World Series or the Super Bowl or this, that athletes become very depressed afterwards. And it's because they're like, wow, I just spent all my life for, 23, 24, 25, 35 years focusing on this. This is my goal. This is my pinnacle life. And I was happy for a day, a couple hours, maybe I get a parade. And then it's like, wow. Yeah, like what now? What do I? So
Some people, they take a deep breath and go, okay, I need to win a second Super Bowl. I need to make the next great discovery, right? I need to break the next big equation. And then they'll spend the next much time pursuing that. But Vyasadeva was very fortunate, right? Because he had what? A spiritual master to adjust him, to get him in the right perspective, right? He didn't have a coach or a boss to say, good job, now the next equation or the next project or the next thing. He had a spiritual master which said to him, hey, the reason why you're not satisfied is because you've missed the point. You missed the cream of the Vedic literature, and that's to glorify the Supreme Lord. His name, paraphernalia, his pastimes. You've missed this. And a matter of fact, not only did you miss that, you've only encouraged people to gratify their senses in the name of religion. Could you imagine this if your boss is like, hey, you're a loser? I mean, I'm being a little strong, of course, like that. But Narada Muni, matter of fact, laughs at Vyasadeva before he tells him this. Could you imagine that your spiritual master, you're like thinking, I did this great service, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, but did you glorify the Lord? Uh-oh. Oh, no. So, we need to make sure that what we are doing is meant to please the Supreme Lord, or we're not going to find satisfaction. Matter of fact, we have to break out of the thinking eventually of my satisfaction and only think of Krishna's satisfaction. What is the pleasure of Krishna? What would make him happy? And in this way, when we're really driven to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna and only work for his purpose, then Krishna, this is called taking shelter. This is called taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Something amazing happens. He starts taking care of you, right? Krishna's arrangement is you take shelter of me, I give you service. We think sometimes, Krishna, I'm going to serve you. But actually, that's Krishna giving you the impotence to serve. All we can do is take shelter of Krishna, because it's Krishna's decision whether he gives us devotional service or not. This is kind of twists our brain. Like, wait a minute, like, I can do this service, I go out and I work and I do this and this. But in Krishna consciousness, it flips 180. We actually just take shelter of the Lord, and he gives us devotional service. So, in our life, we are feeling this dissatisfaction. And so we go through life trying to figure that out. What is that? Why am I dissatisfied? And we'll blame it on this, and we'll blame it on that. We'll use this story, and we'll use that story, and this, and this, and this. But the devotee chooses to take shelter of the Lord, and therefore nothing that comes to them is not given by the Lord. And therefore the devotee no longer is living in a world of duality, good, bad, enemy, friend. Oh, this is coming from my Lord. So, often I hear this saying in our community, saying in this community, I have my balance, my material life and spiritual life. Trying to understand where Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to balance your spiritual life and material life. Is that his instructions to Arjun? He explains karma kanda, right? He says if you can't do this, this. But his instructions to Arjuna at the very end, it says abandon all types of religion and surrender to me. So even if he explains everything from a point of view, his instructions, what he's telling Arjuna to do, isn't to balance your material and your spiritual life. This is the goal. It's very clear. Do this. Surrender to me. I'm your friend. I will take care of you. So as devotees, we need to come across, we need to understand the sum of Bhagavad Gita. We need to understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. We need to understand the cream of Bhagavad Gita. And that's that Krishna is our friend, and our job is to take shelter of him. He gives us service, and we do our duty for him. So, if you are a teacher for the local high school, is this your material life or your seva? Well, if you think of it as your material life, I would suggest that you do your best to start to shift that attitude and say, this is my seva. This is what I do for Krishna. This is my service. If you're a doctor, then you cultivate the attitude that this is my service. And something amazing happens when we cultivate that attitude, that this is my service, this is what I'm doing for Krishna. He's given me this service. Is you start to walk a little different, you start to talk a little different, you start to carry yourself a little different. And although you may look like 99.9% of people in the world, you have 0.1%. You're part of 0.1% that's different. Srila Prabhupada says 99.9% of people in the material world are looking out for material sense gratification, right? And you guys here are 0.1% saying, nope, I want something different. So being 0.01% of that population, you have everything. You have Krishna. And therefore, when you speak like a duck, walk like a duck, and talk like a duck, it's a little bit different. And people start asking you, what's up with you? Why you're speaking the same language, you're speaking, at work you have a language, right? You have yoga speak, or software engineer speak, or mathematics speak, language that people are understanding of how to work together, right? So you're speaking the same language as everybody, but you're doing it in such a way that people want to know what's going on with you. And that's because you're doing your service for Krishna. Your mindset, heart set, your attitude is that my duty is for Krishna. And it makes a world of difference. Last night, I was with my daughter buying a car. And if you want to know the epitome, the hellish planet on this material world, it's buying a car. At a car sale, at a car dealership, right? So we're going through it, and my daughter's buying my car. My mother-in-law, her grandma, is helping her, and I'm supposed to be the negotiator. Okay, I'm the negotiator. So we go through the process, and I'm walking by another salesperson. We're in a room, and I'm walking by, and this salesperson stops me. He says, "Hey, what's that on your neck?" And I said, "This is a pravitra, and it's really special. It's auspicious." And he says, "Auspicious?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's like spiritual luck, It's like really a spirit." Oh, he goes, "Okay." He goes, "What's that on your neck?" I said, "Oh, this is Tulsi. This is also very auspicious, And he goes, "What's that other one?" And I couldn't believe he saw it, but I wear these Rudra beads, I was given to by a devotee from Nepal, and they're offered to Lord Shiva at that very special temple. And it was, when I got it, I really felt like Lord Shiva was giving me blessings. So I wear it thinking that Lord Shiva is helping me. He goes, "What's that?" And I mean, I have these underneath it. And so I pulled out and I said, "Oh, these are beads that are often used in to connect with Lord Shiva," or something like that. I said, and he goes, "Lord Shiva?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, right away, he goes, "How do you feel about giving those up?" Like he wanted them. And I was like, I was distraught, you know. I was like, I really feel like when I put them each morning, they're a blessing from Lord Shiva, you know. And I was like, "Sorry, sir, these are really special to me, you know." And but internally, I was like, somebody's asking me for these. Like, how can I say no? Like, am I even a devotee? Am I so attached, you know? So I said, "You know what? Let me take your number down, and I'll get you something. I can't give this up, but I will get you something." And he goes, "Okay, you know." So I take his number, we exchange numbers, and I go back into the cage, and I'm still distraught. You know, did I do the right thing? Should I just have given this devotee, you know, the thing that he asked for? Am I so attached? You know, anyways, the games we play in the head of devotees, right? You know, as devotees, we're playing, you know. And so I tell my daughter, I'm like, "Yeah, he's asking me about this, and he asked me, he wanted my beads." And she goes, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, we have those in the gift shop, and like so many people buy them." Oh. So I text messaged him, you know, he's across the way, and I text him and I said, "Hey, Roger," you know, and I sent him a link of our restaurant, and a picture of our Google is food, you know, food on the prasadam on the thing. And I said, "Hey, we got this place called Kalashanji's. We have a gift shop, and these beads are there, and you can stop by the gift shop, and I'm a priest at the temple there. So if you let me know when you're coming, then I can I'll meet you there, and I'll give it a little special something, a special blessing or something like that." And I'm like, "Okay, you know, that's nice." So we had a break between the negotiation, the hell. And so I go out and I'm like, go talk to him. I say, "Hey, Roger, did you get my text message?" He's like, "Yeah, I just got it." He's like, "Whoa." He's like, this is the, you know, this is, what is this place and stuff?" And I'm telling him, "Oh, you know, we have a temple, and it's a restaurant, and we have a gift shop, and you come. And he's like, "Oh," he's like, and the way he said it, I was like, you know, when you people say something, you kind of feel like, yeah, I was like, okay, he's really interested in coming. So I leave, and I'm sitting down. He comes a few minutes later and starts talking to me. He's showing me pictures. He's like, "What is this place, you know?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, so we got a restaurant." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "I have Tuesdays off. I'm going to talk to my wife, and we're going to bring my kids, and we're going to come to the restaurant." And he goes, "I saw this picture of a tree," and I was like, "Yeah, that's our courtyard. It's beautiful." And he's like, "Yeah, this restaurant's really beautiful." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, I'm Catholic, but I'm cool with all religions and stuff like that." It's like, "Yeah." He's like, I was like, you know, and so I told him, I said, "Oh, by the way, this Tulsi is called holy basil, and actually in a lot of Catholic temples they have holy basil. I don't know if you guys know that, but like it's said that I read a story about a Catholic saint. She was looking for the resurrection place of Jesus Christ, and when she found it, she knew what it was. She knew, you know, kind of like the 6 Goswamis, like finding the holy places of Krishna. She like knew, like, this is the place, and it was full of Tulsi. It was Tulsi everywhere. I mean, they called it holy basil and stuff. So I'm like, you know, anyways, I'm trying to connect with him, and I was like, he was told, like, you know, I'm 95% sure he's going to come. You know what I mean? One of those experiences, you know? And so what I'm trying to say is when, I'm not saying I don't want to, I mean, obviously I could sound puffed up here, you know, but anyways, the point isn't that we're puffed up or we're this, but in our movement, we take shelter of Kalashanji, and he puts us in positions to be able to preach in our own unique way. And so when we do our duty, like go negotiate cars, and we do it and say, "You know what? I'm not so down with this, but you know what, Krishna, I am your servant, and I will even go do this for you." My daughter is your child. I'm in charge, so I'm going to do the best I can. And bam, this thing happens, and I'm like, I'm leaving and going. We didn't buy the car, by the way, but I'm thinking, Krishna's so kind that he arranged that situation. So in your duty and our duty, we always are doing it for Krishna, whether it's negotiating for cars, or whether it's being the office manager, whether it's being the book distributor, or this, you are always prepared for Sankirtan, because we're always doing it for Krishna, and we're hoping, we're praying to Krishna, please you give me an opportunity to share with you others. And bam, situations happen, because we're walking a little bit different, we're talking a little bit different. There's something about us that's a little bit different. And it's not really us. It's that Krishna is coming out in our heart, and he's giving an opportunity to touch other people's. And luckily, because we're taking the shelter of Krishna, we get an opportunity to do a little bit of service. So, what do you guys think? Hare Krishna. It's 8:21. Please, questions, comments, thoughts, corrections. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, I have two thoughts to share. The first is, I've heard before in a few classes, it's like, oh, when you practice bhakti, people are going to be like, oh, wow, you're glowing. Wow, oh, he's like nicer than everyone else. And I would always have like a doubt in my head, like, okay, do people actually like, stop you in the street and say, oh, your eyes are twinkling or something? So, for a while I was like, okay. But I appreciate how you gave a story. You gave like a practical like experience of like Krishna arranging for you to be able to share with someone. Yeah, so previously I might have thought, oh, maybe that's a little lazy to say, oh, I don't have to go out there. I'm just going to be glowing and people will come up to me and say, oh, you're so spiritual. But it's true in a sense. If we're very advanced, Krishna will arrange for people to inquire, and he'll arrange for specific things. And then I kind of had a bit of a question in that how to understand when is something service and when is something kind of just, you were saying like, working at the high school is my service. So, is it just everything a devotee does, period, is service, or is there some kind of conscious thing that we have to do in order to turn something from just an ordinary job into service?
So, thank you. Very nice question, and I appreciate your point of the glowing thing. The thing is that with the glowing part, it might not be a glow. It might be. The point is we don't just sit there and wait for our glow to attract people. We do our duty, and Krishna arranges something. I was doing my duty helping my daughter, and Krishna was so kind that he threw this thing in. Sometimes it will be people that will ask you about your tattoo. Sometimes it will be somebody who will ask it. Somebody will ask about something, or something just a little bit different that you say than different people. And they say, hey, you said that thing, and I can't get it out of my mind. Like, what did you mean by that? Oh, we have to do our duty for Krishna to be put in the opportunities for these things. So, what makes somebody's devotional service? Let me get clear on the question. What makes something devotional service, and what makes something what just somebody does? Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah. So someone's a devotee, and they do something, they work. Is it automatically service just because they're a devotee, or do they consciously have to make some adjustment? Or
so this is a great question, because it's very interesting. Because as conditioned devotees, we're falling down all the time. I would adjust it a little bit to the fact that when you make a choice to be a devotee, Krishna is going to arrange things for you to grow, to progress in your devotional service. Krishna, I'm yours, you are mine. That's my goal in life. And sometimes we will forget it, and sometimes this is called fall down. Fall down, we sometimes look at it as somebody drank alcohol or this or that, but fall down is just a moment in time where you forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you're there to serve Him. Fall down, bloop, back into the material world. Material conscious, spiritual conscious. And in the conditioned way, we're flipping quite often from back and forth. So the interesting thing happens as a devotee when you decide to make your devotional service, the thing that you do, your devotional service, is Krishna is putting you into opportunities to learn how to grow, how to progress in your devotional service, how to Krishnaize it even better, you could say. So when you're a devotee, pain is amazing. Difficulty is amazing. Hardships are amazing. Because as a devotee, we get to take shelter of Krishna, and He gets to adjust us in a right way, whether it's our attitude or our character or these things. So, for instance, you might have a situation where you're doing something and you're feeling horrible. You feel like you have this drama going on. And we're praying to Krishna, please, Krishna, tell me how to serve you best. And if you put yourself in the position to hear Krishna through sadhana, it becomes a lot easier to hear Krishna. It becomes a lot harder to hear Krishna when you're not putting yourself in the position to hear through Guru, Shastra, and Sangha about the answer that Krishna is giving you. So, what I would say is that every moment, everything that's going on in a devotee's life is meant to correct us in our devotional service, to adjust us, to help us progress in it. And so sometimes that pain that we're having, that engine light comes on in our vehicle, and there's something wrong. Sometimes it's just you're in the material world and you're not meant to stay here. But quite often there's lessons about how to adjust your devotional service, your attitude, your bhava, better so it serves Krishna better. So the thing that makes it devotional service is a commitment to progress in your devotional service. Therefore, it is devotional service. There might be some times where you fall down and you do this, but the devotee's commitment is, this is my service for Krishna, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to keep progressing. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone who makes a little progress in this path is free from the greatest kind of fear. The greatest kind of fear is death. Who am I? Why am I here? Everything's been taken away from me. Devotee takes a deep breath and goes, wait a minute. My Lord is never doing anything for my betterment. So there's something here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Basically, then our intelligence starts kicking in. Oh, I see how I can adjust. I see how I could work with this person better, or say this different. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm following. Although
I think I said a lot.
I had this thought that, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems that you're talking about a devotee who's kind of like fully surrendered. Because when you surrender to Krishna, you know, He takes care of everything, and everything that enters your life is to better. But I feel if there's a devotee with material desires, like, you know, myself as like a Guru Kuli or something, like, you know, and, you know, sometimes I feel like things will enter my life because I'm asking for space from Krishna. And so in that way, maybe that experience isn't bringing me closer, but it's giving me some samskaras that, or it's, you know, making me cause offenses or things like that.
Well, good point. What kind of devotee are we talking about? What platform are we talking about? So, even from the first stage, the very moment that we get connected with devotional service, we're on a trajectory. We've heard, have we heard Srila Prabhupada say, somebody just touches this book of Bhagavad Gita, their material life is over. So it might look like this, it might look like that, it might look like this and that, this and this. The person who's on the path of devotional service is being corrected in a way to perform devotional service. So the break that you think you're taking because you need a break is Krishna's there with you. You might not see it in some way because you have a small perspective of the moment. We think of it like this or this, we tell our story. But when we pan out, and if we could see Krishna's point of view, you would see that he has a perfect plan. I know this person has material desires still, and so I'm going to take care of it like this, but at the same time, I'm going to teach them that it's not where it's at. So it's how do we define devotee? Whether you're on this platform or that platform, a devotee is someone who's devoted to Krishna, and Krishna is devoted to them. Krishna will take care of us. Okay, so then we go through experiences to teach us that to progress. As devotees, we're on a path of progression. How to grow, how to make a step. Sometimes we're so caught up in the goal that we can't see our progress at the time. And so therefore we get a little bit, and sometimes a lot, bewildered. But then we take a little step back. What have I done in the last 5 years? Oh my gosh, Krishna, thank you so much. You've really helped me. But if we could go lifetimes, trillions of lifetimes, Krishna's perspective, it'd be like, yeah, I got you. As a matter of fact, you committed to being my devotee, and in 1,000 lifetimes, 10,000 lifetimes, I got you taken care of. That's like a blink of the eye for eternity, right? So when we really need to understand as devotees that we're trying to progress to become pure devotees. We're trying to. We're not pure devotees, but we're trying to take the instructions about how to step up to that platform. And so my bhava is to encourage devotees to say, stop thinking of your material life. You are doing, what you're doing for Krishna is important. Stop. Give up the attitude that you have. Of course, okay. The truth of the matter is, something's going to hit you, and you're going to realize your material desires. That's the truth. You're going to get into positions where you go, gosh. Nanda-braja said that I'm supposed to give up my material life, and I'm supposed to just be, but heck, this situation in front of me, I can see clearly I have material desires. Yes, that's going to happen. But we don't stay there. We don't stay in the attitude of, I'm a material person, and what can I do? I'm so fallen. And no, we don't stay in the mode of ignorance. We get up. We get up. So how can we do that? I'm a devotee. I'm taking shelter of you, Krishna, and therefore you're going to give me devotional and service, and I am confident in that. I don't have a material life. I have a spiritual life. I may have fell down for a second, but I'm getting back up, and you'll take care of me. So there's one thing that Shivaram Swami said when we were in Vrindavan, and so Satchidananda Swami, thank you. He said, please, devotees, and he said it in such a way that I was like, whoa, I just heard something that was unbelievable, and I don't quite understand it, but I've got to meditate on it. He said, please, devotees, when you hear this, do not think of it like the same old thought process you did as a beginning devotee. Look at this. He didn't say, and he stopped right there, and I was like, I just heard something that's very special. I don't get it right now, but there's something in here. Don't continue to look at things through my lens of a new devotee, as the beginning when I started my devotional service. Take the experience, take the knowledge that Krishna has given us, and bring it to the point to look at it as fresh, light, new. I have new ways to take this Bhagavad Gita first that I've heard 100 times, and there's a new, fresh way to look at it. And Krishna has given me so many experiences since the last time I heard it, that there's something fresh here, there's something new, and there's something for me to grow in. So, when you get to the point when material life slaps you in the face, and you're feeling down, and you're feeling out, and you do know I'm in a material consciousness, we look at it through a new perspective, not the same perspective as the last time we came into that material slap. We look at it in a new perspective. What have I been given? What things have I been given to look at this in a new light? I just read in Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada talking about confidence. I can grow in my confidence. This is an opportunity for me to grow in confidence. Whatever it is, whatever Krishna has you taken care of. For instance, it was not a coincidence to me that the person who came last night through the restaurant, I've heard 3 or 4 things about the restaurant in the last week. It's not a coincidence. Krishna was helping me through different experiences, and I was like, hey, come to our restaurant. But if I look at this, if I looked at that perception at the same thing with the confidence I had as a new devotee, then you might just go, oh yeah, it's a cool necklace. Bye. But no, I did the best I could to explain it in a way, and Krishna gave me some intelligence to invite him to the restaurant. So because of new perspectives and new confidence in Krishna and new growth in my relationship with Krishna, the confidence comes out and I'm able to speak in a little bit better way. And maybe the next person I meet, maybe I get a little even, I'll meditate on what I said to Rod, because there was a couple things that I feel like I could have said a little bit better about the Pavitra stuff. I was kind of shocked when he asked me about it. I was like, oh my gosh, So that makes me think about what will I say next time. I really hope that Krishna will just inspire me in the heart. But anyways, is that okay? I just gave another class. I'm sorry. I apologize for.
Can I?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
With your permission?
Yes, please.
So, Prabhu, you asked the question, when I perform any activity, is that bhakti yoga, is that devotional service? I just want to read a purport from the 10th chapter, 10th verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada summarizes this in one small paragraph. If you want to bring this up. The paragraph begins, when a person knows. Maybe you can read that's the paragraph. Maybe you can read it yourself.
When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculations to understand Krishna, he's acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he's acting in bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life.
So this leads to a bunch of different, more questions, right? It brings, at least for me, it brings even more questions. The thing is that Srila Prabhupada has given us the goal of life. We do know it. We might fall from time to time from it being present with us. But that is part of devotional service. That is part of our process. In Srimad Bhagavatam, time after time after time after time after time, people are falling down. And yet it's the literature of all literatures, right? We see how Indra gets adjusted. We understand how Lord Brahma gets adjusted. We understand how this devotee gets adjusted. are we not in a similar situation where we do have a commitment to some degree to become devotees of Krishna, and we just come into a situation where we need to get purified. We need things to happen. And it comes out by sometimes we start looking at our devotional service as jnana yoga or karma yoga, but we go back to Krishna and Krishna helps us. So is the service at the moment bhakti yoga? Anyways, ask a mentor that knows you better. But is our life of devotional service our life of bhakti? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that we are bhaktas. We are devotees, and I fall down and I fall down and I fall down, but I get back up, 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 and Krishna takes care of me each time. So, for the teacher who's doing their devotional service as a teacher, if they're making commitment to be a devotee, then it is devotional service. They might need to figure out how to adjust it in ways so that they can do their devotional service in a way that's pleasing to Krishna. But yes, in my perspective, and I believe from what I've heard from our acharyas, that person is in devotional service. Is it pure? Yes.
Does it matter why they're teaching? Like, for example, someone is like, oh, I move out of the ashram and I'm working because I want to get tattoos. And so, like, they're a devotee and they're doing this thing, but our consciousness is that.
Do they think the tattoos will make Krishna happy? Well, it's up to them. We can do so many different things, weird things that we can't even imagine that are devotional service, but there's people doing them that's devotional service. You know what I mean? So we'd have to ask that person. They say, what's the purpose of you? What's your purpose of your doing, acting? Oh, I'm trying to please Krishna. The result isn't if they're right or wrong. It's that they're doing their best they can, and Krishna he'll do his part, So your question if somebody leaves the ashram and if they're doing this and that, I would say, Prabhu, that I would encourage you to look at them as a devotee, that Krishna has them taken care of, and maybe I don't understand why some of these things are happening, but I'm confident that Krishna has them taken care of. And that will be best for your consciousness, because it will keep you in Krishna consciousness and you doing your devotional service, and not in a point where you're worrying so much about the other person and about how they're not a devotee or they're not in bhakti. By the way, I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm saying we can go in that spiral, right? Is this person a devotee? Are they doing devotional service? I have spoken until 8:43. Maybe we can talk about this at Prasadam. I apologize for going so, it's funny, you get thrown on the Vyasa-san and you go 13 minutes late. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari Bol, Vanchakalpatrubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namah, Antikoti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai. Wow.